When you talk about the New York Islanders, everybody seems to think, the consensus out there, well, they can't really score goals, but they just lock it down. They're going to win every game in the series 1-0. Matt Barzal didn't have a goal in this series, yet they took down the high-octane Pittsburgh Penguins. How did the offense do it without Barzal, their superstar, getting anything?
Yeah, well, you heard Pulak there talking about by committee. And that's how they do everything by committee. They defend, they get the zone clean, and then they get the offense. So they've had opportunities. They created some opportunities. This game they had a lot of 3-on-2s, creating that momentum. They have a lot of speed. And the speed in the defensive zone, you know, it's not as evident because it's short plays to get the pucks or to create confrontation. But in the transition game, they go. And it's like, you know, the responsibility and what they ask of you is to defend to a T. But, hey, once you have the puck, go. And that's what they're good at. They're good at getting in. They've got enough grit. They can break up the defense and maybe some of the structure with broken plays, and they find a way to get in. Some of those players, like Brock Nelson, underrated.
I mean, he's a whole killer B line, right?
I mean, they're underrated. They're a team that, like, Beauvillier we hear about, he's got speed. But Nelson, to me, is so under the radar. Bailey, under the radar. They look like responsible veteran guys that just do their job. And I think when you have that and you allow them to play a little free in the offensive zone, you know, that's where they flex a little bit.
There was a lot of worry on the island when Anders Lee, their captain, goes down with a season-ending injury. They make some of those moves from the Devils to the Islanders at the trade deadline. Didn't look like they were panning out, and then Kyle Palmieri comes in and has a big impact. 3 goals in this series. Travis Zajac, he's starting now. Did you think those moves were going to work out the way that they have? Or did you think sometimes it just takes time, right?
It's amazing because, you know, Lou Lamoriello has been around and he understands. And he understands the players that he's got and he understands what he needs. And when you get Palmieri, okay, the regular season, feel it out. Take your time. It's okay. We're going to the playoffs. He gets in game 1 and he's a star. He's a hero. And you know, that's magic. You know it's coming, but he's bought into the way they've had to play. He's made some key plays and key moments to help pucks get out of dangerous areas and make plays to help the offense. He picked up a great assist the other night. And Zajac, he's out there today. You know he wants to be in the lineup. He doesn't want to be on the side, but he knows he's a part of something special. He's been around long enough that he wants to win a Stanley Cup, and he knows what it's going to take. It means wait your turn. He waits his turn, and there were details tonight where he won big face-offs. He was a part of key moments, and so he's got to feel good about his game.
The Boston Bruins have been waiting to find out who they're going to play. We now know the New York Islanders. Quick thoughts. How does that one look on paper? How do they stack up?
Well, it's going to be different because, you know, the Washington Capitals, they looked good to start, but they kind of fell off because their injuries caught up with them, the situations they had at hand. They didn't seem like they really got settled in. I know there was a few games in overtime, but it seemed the longer that the series got on, the Bruins got stronger and the Washington Capitals fell off a little bit. The structure of Barry Trotz, I mean, that's all we talk about.
Structure.
Right? But it's a real thing.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's the way you play. It's your lifeline to be here, and it's your lifeline to stay alive. And when you have that, and you know, you hear coaches talk all the time about, we're not worried about what the other team does. We're worried about our process during this regular season. It's a real thing. That's what they have to worry about. So, 2 teams that know what they are, 2 teams with enough skill up front to match up that way. It's going to be the bottom 6, and this is another. It seems like it's a cliche when we talk hockey, but the bottom 6 of each of these lineups. It's valuable. I guess.
Look at the last couple of Stanley Cup champions, though. It always plays out that way,
right? I mean, Patrick Maroon's one of those players.
Right.
He's got 2
The
cups
fourth
now.
line in St. Louis was a huge impact.
It's because there's not many moments. There's not many moments, and if you're preparing to play against the Pittsburgh Penguins, you're going to focus on Crosby and Malkin. Well, guess who's not getting focused? Guess who's not getting top D pair? You're not facing against them. So that's where. And the other thing is, a good bottom 6 keeps momentum. If the top line goes out and gets a power play goal, and you feel the momentum, now say the third or fourth line gets out there, you have a responsibility to go out there and have a good shift. It doesn't mean you're going to score, but control the play. Keep the opposition on their heels. And there's a lot of that with both of these teams.
Who's got more depth, Boston or the Islanders right now?
Well, it seems like up front and the scoring depth, you've got to give Boston the nod. I mean, with their top 2 and McAvoy. And these are elite players.
I would have said that about the Pittsburgh Penguins, too, though, right?
Yeah, but Malkin was banged up. He didn't look like himself. He looked like he was playing on a leg and a half in some situations. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a certain amount of attention that Crosby needs taken off of him. He's that important. And, you know, he still finds a way to get things done. He didn't in this series. I know they're going to talk about it. Third year in a row of exiting the first round. Crosby got, what, 1 point in this series? Just not enough there. Okay. But there's pieces that help you think about something else with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Malkin wasn't right. There was the defense. Letang was okay. But you need other players to be dangerous. Because when they're dangerous, you got to give the other team get their hands full. And they just didn't have it there. So I think Boston, with Bergeron's leadership, he just knocked off his former captain. They've got a little swagger, I think. The way Tuukka Rask is playing, I would say the depth up front for the Bruins is it outmatches the Islanders right now.